All right, folks, we're going to jump right in today. Russ joins us from Seattle, where he is set to attend and speak at the Workers Strike Back conference. We are, of course, happy to welcome a longtime friend of the show, repeat guest. I lost count of how many times we've had her on the show. It's always a pleasure.
She's
And in this
basically our
case,
Steve Martin.
yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. And in this case, there's some urgency because the Worker Strike Back conference is in 2 days from now. So please welcome Kshama Sawant. Kshama, good to see you again.
Great to see you both as well. And Russell, welcome to Green and Gray Seattle.
All right, well, let's jump right in here. We're, of course, going to talk a lot about Worker Strike Back, the upcoming conference this weekend. I think this is an interesting piece of information that is indicative of the opportunity that lies ahead for a sort of post-duopoly left movement. Democrats in Congress lack trust from their own voters, yes, according to brand new polling. So, a new poll from Survey USA shows a majority of Democrats don't trust those in Congress to stand up to Trump. The poll surveyed 1,705 registered voters from February 13th to February 16th. Only 22% of Democrats said Democrats in Congress are standing up to Trump the right amount. The majority, 60%, say Democrats aren't doing enough to stand up to Trump, while only 10% said Democrats are standing up to Trump too much. Those are John Fetterman's voters, I guess. An additional 8% were unsure whether Democrats in Congress are standing up to Trump enough. Now, more importantly, and even more relevant, I think, to this conversation, a Quinnipiac poll also gave red flags for Democrats in Congress. Only 40% of Democrats in the poll said they approve of how Democrats in Congress are doing their job, compared to 49% who disapprove. The poll surveyed 1,039 registered voters from February 13th to February 17th. So 3 weeks into Trump's second term, Democrats are underwater, congressional Democrats underwater with their own voters. Now, that contrasts to 2017, when the same poll was taken at the same time in 2017. Congressional Democrats had a 59% approval rating amongst their own voters. So you've seen an almost 30-point swing against Democrats from their own voters. And this is what I think many of us in the sort of post-duopoly left space saw as the silver lining of Trump's second term, is that the Democrats' credibility has completely cratered. I mean, nationwide, they're in the 20s in terms of like favorability of congressional Democrats. But even amongst their own base, they are now underwater. And so, Kshama, does this bottoming out of the Democratic Party create an opportunity for left organizations like Workers Strike Back? And could the timing of this conference be any better?
I know it's the timing couldn't really be better. In fact, I'm
Talk
glad you
about a
brought up this.
softball question. I'm going to get shit for that. That was as softball a question as you could ever ask. But
All
I'll
right.
take. That's fine. I think it was good anyway. I stand by it anyway.
Well,
So suck it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we should have debate on the left, but we should also have a collective strategy as well. So it's
Right.
okay to agree, I think.
Batting practice. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that poll because I was going to bring that up myself. And as you said correctly, Keaton, that the overall poll, if you look at this, 21% approve and 68% of American registered voters disapprove. And of course, the most telling feature of this is how Democratic Party habitual voters, that's how the poll was done, how they feel about the Democratic Party. And obviously, almost a majority of Democratic Party habitual voters saying that they don't approve of the Democrats. I mean, that is, I don't know what else would be the case if you want to describe their Democratic Party's credibility being in the toilet. That is where they are. And you can see why they're going even more in that direction when you have Donald Trump's administration attacking federal government employees. He's already fired 14,000 workers. He's saying that he's going to really just run amok on federal employees in general. I mean, really ominous promises. And what do you have the House leader of the Democrats, Hakeem Jeffries, doing? He flies all the way to Silicon Valley and says to the tech billionaires, I want to mend fences with you.
Right.
He's not, yeah, the Democrats are not saying, we fucked up. We are sorry. We did not represent even the modicum of working class needs here. And we are paying the price, and we want to mend fences with tens of millions of American working people. We're going to call mass rallies throughout the country against the firings of federal employees. We are urging labor leaders to join, who supported Kamala Harris, to join us and call for work stoppages across the nation. Let's bring this economy to a halt, and let's fight Trump in the way that Trump needs to be fought back on. But you don't have that situation. So, and I want to talk more about the failures of the labor leadership as well. But to your question, yeah, I mean, there couldn't have been a better time. But I should say that it's not automatic. It's not going to be automatic. The fight, yes, the credibility of the Democratic Party is as low as it has ever been. However, they, the Democratic Party also represents a whole wing of the capitalist class, of the elite, as the Republicans do. And what we have seen throughout the last 5 decades, I mean, it is our job to learn lessons from history. And if we don't, we're actually completely failing the working class. And what have we seen? We have seen that the working class is left to oscillate between Democrats and Republicans decade after decade, while the left there's no real mass left leadership to speak of, and that's not going to be automatic. And I think that's what this organizing conference on Saturday is all about. That, how do we actually do it?
Please clap.